Hi everyone, it's an honor to be with you here today. My name is Gunhild Stordalen. I'm the founder and executive chair of EAT, a science-based nonprofit dedicated to transforming our global food system for healthy people and a healthy planet. And we work across sectors, disciplines, and continents to co-create solutions, to drive engagement and initiate action. And science is at the core of everything we do. Even though we may not always like the inconvenient truths we hear from researchers, they tell us that the world we live in today is a high-speed train at risk of going off the rails. Well, perhaps not exactly in those words, but still, friends and colleagues, the message is crystal clear. The food we eat and how we produce it, how much we lose and waste, carries much of the blame. Just last month in the journal Science, Eat Lancet author Mike Clark told us that even if we manage to cut fossil fuel emissions to zero immediately, current emissions from food are so huge that we would still slide past the 1.5 degree target, possibly even rising above 2 degrees. Folks, this message is worth repeating. We won't make Paris unless we fix food. And that's a big realization. What's even bigger is that it doesn't stop there. Our diets are not only threatening Paris, it's also our health, what my friend Boyd Swinburne has called a global syndemic of obesity and the nutrition and climate change. Diets have now become the #1 killer in the world, accounting for more deaths than tobacco, alcohol, drugs, and unsafe sex combined. But it's also about our biodiversity, our oceans and water, social equality, and of course, our entire economy. And study after study is now reinforcing the same finding. Business as usual drives us down a course which spells disaster on multiple fronts. Food production, which is our most intimate relationship with nature, and food consumption, which is our most intimate relationship with health, are failing big on both fronts. So where are we heading on diets and consumption? According to a brand new modeling study from EAT's colleagues at the Potsdam Institute, if current trends continue, the world will be starved, stuffed, and squandered by 2050. The researchers estimate that by 2050, more than 4 billion people could be overweight, 1.5 billion of them obese, while 500 million people could continue to be underweight. And this gap between hungry and overfed is actually likely to worsen, while food waste will increase. And this is due to several factors, including population growth, urbanization, insufficient global distribution of food, as well as the nutrition transition, meaning the shift from scarcely processed diets towards unbalanced, affluent diets, where animal protein, sugar, and fat displace whole grains and pulses. The increasing waste of food and the rising consumption of animal protein mean that the environmental impacts of our food system will spiral out of control. Whether greenhouse gases, nitrogen pollution, or deforestation, we are pushing the limits of our planet and exceeding them. So to achieve zero hunger, healthy diets for all, and a food demand compatible with environmental boundaries, we need to redirect consumption trends. So obviously we see that the science can reveal a scary reality, but can it also reveal a hopeful one? Yes, there are absolutely such thing as science-based hope. Most models suggest that we can indeed feed 10 billion people a healthy diet within environmental limits. But the only way to do this is to focus both on the production and the consumption side of the equation. Food is our best bet in a system of solution, and that is good news. If we get it right, food can be a powerful preventative medicine for both people and planet. Are there trade-offs and hard choices? Yes, absolutely. But there are also very significant opportunities. Shifting to a healthy diet, as outlined by the Eat Lancet report, would reduce emissions from food by 60% and would avert 11 million premature deaths from diet-related diseases every year. Getting there, it all sums up to urgent action needed fast. While I was preparing for this event, I sat just here in my home office in Oslo, scanning the project drawdown solutions. Great, inspiring options for actions indeed. But we have to realize that they are just a start, a hopeful beginning. For coordinated action on a large scale, we need political will. And for politicians, it's all about jobs and the economy, getting voter supports, etc. So therefore, some will say that it actually takes a miracle to change course. But miracles, they happen. Listen to this. 2020 was a hard, rough year. But in its hardship, we may have missed what a miracle year this actually was. Crises are opportunities to rethink, as we know, and of course, opportunities to build back better. And enabled by strong demands from the public, we saw political will translated into real game-changing coordinated actions. In less than a year, science and business got together and sequenced the genome for COVID and delivered several safe vaccines, which normally takes some 5 to 10 years. And as we speak, rolling them out to millions. So now we know when we are committed to a problem, we as a society are able to deliver science-based solutions. As Project Drawdown has shown, there are countless solutions waiting to be deployed and scaled. But research alone isn't good enough anymore. It is about the future of the world, and now the world has to shift its course. We all have to come out of our silos and put our hands on the wheel, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it means getting criticized. And let's never forget, it's never socially acceptable to be right first. Yet there shouldn't be any more mysterious men and women in white coats hidden away in labs, doing research and aiming only to get it published in top-tier journals, read only by scientists. It's really the old way of doing things. To secure a healthy, just, and sustainable future, we need science to be much better embedded and integrated into society. Much more iteration, much more design focus. We need scientists prepared to be confronted by and ready to tackle real-world challenges and complex trade-offs, attuned to the roadblocks that hold ambitious change back. 2021, is looking to be the year the stars align. An enormous opportunity to elevate the role of science, to guide our collective action. And the combined opportunities of the UN Ocean Congress, Biodiversity Cup, Nutrition for Growth, Climate Cup, and not at least, the first ever UN Food System Summit, all lined up this year, is telling me that we are at the start of a truly historical year. And the decision we make in 2021 will impact this decade, if not the entire century. And I'm seeing the signs already, tasked with leading the UN Food System Summit action track for shifting to sustainable consumption patterns, how the momentum around the summit is building fast. Here is a simple visual just to illustrate what success looks like for our, as well as the other 4 action tracks of the summit. It's to crowdsource and compile and generate a game-changing menu of solutions and mobilize critical actors and constituencies that can turn great solutions on paper into game-changing action on the ground. And this is true whether we talk about things that are already happening somewhere that is working, but that needs to be scaled up and replicated, or we are talking about new and innovative ideas. And around the world, people, organizations, civil society, businesses, and governments are now all signing up. And they know that the science is clear. So now it's really about the how. The how, and how do we minimize trade-offs while maximizing synergies. And driven by the scientific findings, it's our job across the summit to now show that change is possible and get the world engaged to help generate the solutions and make the commitments that can shift the discourse for a better, healthier, and more prosperous future. So that's what we are currently working on in our action track, and we would love to hear from any of you. I'd be so happy if you could share your best and most creative ideas with us for how to shift to healthy and sustainable consumption patterns. And an online form for collecting ideas for all the action tracks indeed are now available on the summit webpage. So please visit un.org/Food Systems Summit. We really look forward to hearing from you and working with you going forward. Thanks again for having me.